Hi, my name is Charles Porter, and I'm going to be talking about the psychological factors affecting people in exercise. So, why do people exercise? There's many different reasons for why people exercise. There's many different reasons behind it as well. So, on the right here, I have three different letters. I have P, E, and A, each standing for three different things. So, P standing for personal, and E for environmental, and A for activity related. So at the top here we have manage weight. This is a personal thing. So people want to be involved in exercise to manage their weight so they can be a healthy weight. People get involved in exercise to maintain their fitness levels, so maintain their cardiovascular system and their muscular strength, etc. And then we have socializing here. This is also personal. So people take part in sport and exercise to meet new people, make new friends, and meet people with similar interests. And then we have cathartic, which is personal, and we have release stress. So this is also personal, as some people join sport to release stress, to keep their mind off other things that are going on in their lives. And then we have enjoyment here. This is also personal. So people literally just join the sport to just for the enjoyment because they love the sport. Then we have challenge. So this is both personal and activity related. So it's personal because someone might have a goal to achieve, and it's their specific goal that they want to achieve, so they take part in the sport to achieve that goal. It's also activity related because the goal or the challenge that they want to achieve might be related to that actual sport. Then we have fundraising. This is a mixture of all three: personal, environmental, and activity related. So fundraising, people do it within sport just to show their appreciation for others and to raise money. So for example, we had the London Run and London Marathon. Sorry, that's people all over the world do that, and they do it to raise money for loads of different charities. So it's personal because it's personal for themselves because they want to do something for someone. So they to help themselves maybe. And then we have E for environmental, so it's helping other people around them, and it's also A because they're taking part in jogging, which is obviously a sport and it's activity. Now moving on to the barriers of exercise. So same goes again with all the three letters. So personal, environmental, and activity related. So work here. Work is both personal and environmental. Some people cannot exercise due to their work hours during the week, and they may struggle to fit in exercise. So this is personal, obviously, because it's their work and it's their time that they can't put in. And it's also environmental because sometimes people can't control the hours they work. Now moving on to costs. Some people can't take part in some sports or gym memberships due to the cost. So this is environmental because they can't control the actual cost of events and stuff. And then we have injury. This is definitely personal, as it's personal to you. It's about yourself. Um, so people cannot take part in sport if they have an injury. So, for example, if someone broke their leg, they can't take part in football for obvious reasons. And then moving on to facilities. With the facilities, there's been like leisure centres and loads of different gyms. May not be easy access for people with disabilities or people in wheelchairs, for example. It's just definitely environmental because they can't control the access of some facilities. And also with facilities, there may not be near enough gyms located to your area, or teams that are located to your area. So travelling might also be an issue. And experiences, people may have had bad experiences within sport. So it's definitely personal because it's to do with that head, to do with themselves. Then we have introverted, which is personal. And moving on to self-awareness and peer pressure. So peer pressure falls under self-awareness, and these two are both to do with your head. So it's what you're thinking about the sport, whether you like exercise or like the idea of it or not. Now moving on to some of the models to do with the factors. So here we have the transfer reticle model. So here, this is loads of different stages into actually the factors and stuff, and to maintain exercising. So here we have 5 different steps. Here we have pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. So pre-contemplation, so we work up each stage, but also as we go up each stage, you can also relapse and fall back each stage. So pre-contemplation, what is pre-contemplation? So this is the stage where it's not in your mind to change yet. So you're not thinking about changing yet, and it's just not in your mind. Contemplation is the next step up, and this is beginning to think. So this is thinking about changing. So this is the thought in your mind that's thinking about, oh, I might want to play for a football team. And then moving on up one more, up to preparation, this is actually deciding to change. So this is going forward and saying, oh, I'd like to join that team. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So this is planning it, in other words. And then moving on to action, this is actually making the change. So actually performing, maybe. So performing in a match. And then the last one, maintenance. This is maintaining the change. This is basically staying with the change and keeping up with it. So, for example, carrying on with football, maybe throughout the season, you're still playing the games and you're still keeping up with your fitness levels. Moving on to another model, this is the health belief model. So on the right here is a clear definition of the model, very clear. And then there's these 4 different stages. So we have perceived threat, benefits and barriers, cues to action, and self-efficacy. So perceived threat. Under perceived threat, there is 3 different things. So we have perceived susceptibility. So what is perceived susceptibility? This is basically linking the individual to the condition. So this is linking both the environmental factors and the personal factors of an individual, and basically coming up with different ideas. And then now we have the perceived severity. Perceived severity is the seriousness of the consequence. So basically, what this is describing trying to get someone into taking part in exercise, trying to maintain someone in sport, etc. So perceived severity. This is about the seriousness of the consequence. For example, if someone was smoking, you would tell them the consequences of smoking and the bad effects of it. You could do this by adding a shock value. So basically, what I mean by shock value is adding the actual consequences, showing pictures, showing examples to the client or to the person. And moving on to the threat. This is literally the threat it can cause to you, smoking, the threat it can actually cause to the client, and what can happen to the client. Benefits and barriers, so literally the goods and bads about their characteristics. Cues to action, so there's both internal and external. So internal is about how they promote the change, and external is about how many people, how the people motivate the change. So internal is to do with yourself, how you promote the change, and external is to do with other people around you and how they motivate you to change. Self-efficacy, specific confidence falls under this. So this is basically about yourself, about how you want to change, how you look at it at changing, and how you would actually control the change and take part in it. So this is another one of the models. This is theory of planned behaviour. On the right, I've got another diagram to show you in more detail. So there's 3 main things for this. There's behaviour attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioural control. So behaviour and attitude. Here we have the affective attitude and instrumental attitude. So affective attitude, what is it? This is how it makes the person feel. This is how it makes someone feel. And then the instrumental attitude is about what it actually does. So what it actually does to the person. So this is how it feel, and this is what it actually does to the person. Now moving on to the subjective norms. Here we have injunctive norms and descriptive norms. So injunctive norm, this is encouraging the behaviour. So this is being able to encourage someone to do something, encouraging someone to change. Descriptive norm, this is being the person that's being encouraged to change. So this is just how the others do the same. So here we have, now moving on, we have the perceived behavioural control. So capable and confident. So this is about how they feel they can change. So how do they feel confident? Do they feel capable enough to change? So if we look here, so here's behaviour. So this is the actual behaviour. So we have these three things here. So we have attitudes, subjective norms, and the behavioural control. So add these three together, you'll get the intention. But also the perceived behavioural control also just leads straight to behaviour, because that's what's in your head, and that can literally lead straight to behaviour. But it can also go to intention first and then lead to behaviour. Now moving on to some examples. Just the first example. So Matthew is a 28-year-old who loves playing FIFA in his spare time. Matthew is well aware of the benefits of playing football and exercising, but he prefers watching instead of taking part. He's suffered from injury in the past and does not want to risk injury again. He drinks a lot of alcohol on the weekend and has a lot of takeaways. He does not like people looking at him in public, and he also lives on his own. So, with Matthew, here I've highlighted some of the key areas. So, Matthew is well aware of the benefits of playing football and exercising, but he prefers watching instead of taking part. So, Matthew being aware of the benefits here basically suggests how he's at the contemplation part. So he's thinking about changing because he's aware of the benefits of exercise. It's also Now moving on to how he prefers watching. This is an internal factor. He knows how to change because obviously watching is not taking part. It's a big difference. So he knows how to change. This is one of the internal factors. Here we have he's suffered from injury in the past and does not want to risk injury again. So he suffered from injury. This is obviously a barrier. But it's also a perceived threat. You can work your way around injury. And obviously he doesn't want to risk injury again, so you can also work your way around it and show how you could help. He drinks a lot of alcohol on the weekend and has a lot of takeaways. So this is obviously a barrier and also a perceived threat like injury. So obviously you can help him on that. Now moving on to, he does not like people looking at him in public, and he also lives on his own. So this here is an external factor. It also shows his affective attitude, how he's had a bad feeling about it, as he doesn't like people looking at him. It's also perceived behavioural control, as this is his behaviour, this is his control, this is what's in his head and what he's thinking about. But also he lives on his own. So living on his own can overcome this. So the benefit can also overcome the barrier. So to change, the benefits do have to overcome the barrier. So him living on his own can help with not going out, with not liking going out in public. so he can exercise